I work at a veterinary clinic and there is no formalized DV training required.
Yes, it's actually required for our position. If you're licensed in the state of Illinois, you have to have domestic violence training, and it's every 2 years.
There is, it's actually embedded within a sexual harassment training that comes around at least twice a year for us. It's a small portion of it, but it does show us how to identify victims of domestic violence and how to report that.
It is not required for my position. We do have to do 20 hours of continuing education every year, but only 3 of those have to be ethics, and it can pretty much be whatever we want, but it's not focused on domestic violence.
So in my line of work, we do have to do trainings. We have to do trainings at least once a year.
Elementary building, specifically my building, as we are certified to deal with students who have experienced trauma, we are trained in the signs of domestic violence within children. So that includes our mandated reporter, it includes any district provided trainings, but then through our TBRI system, we also learn how does it affect children.
So there's definitely been like numerous links and like studies done that the like neglected animals is linked to DV. So I think the training could help us narrow down like what is a neglected animal and what like signs to look for. And I feel like that it would be extremely useful in saving animal lives as well as people.
It's almost like kind of having CPR training. You don't know that you need it till you need it. They get comfortable with telling you a lot more things than they probably tell their families, their girlfriends, or whatnot.
My role entails me building long-lasting, deep relationships with my clients. Usually I'm in a setting that's face-to-face in an office where we're together for 30 to 45 minutes, and we're not just discussing the financial services and products that we have to offer them, but we're also going deeper into a conversation about their daily lives and their goals and their dreams, aspirations, and anything that's deterring them or holding them back from reaching those specific goals. So that opens the door to a lot of discussion at a personal level in regards to difficult situations they may be going through.
I have a student this year who I think I've mentioned before. She experienced domestic violence as an infant to toddler age. And so while she doesn't remember the violence, her body does.
A patient, which is the animal, is matted, or you can tell that they haven't been bathed in a long time. They're either underweight, so they're not getting fed, or dehydrated, or they could be even overweight. A lot of people don't know like overweight is still neglect. And
a lot of times it's the boyfriend coming along all the time, or the husband coming along, or husband demanding a change if you come home and your hair is a certain way, and they come back and they're like, my husband doesn't like it and I have to do it, and that they loved it when they left. You notice if they come in with marks on their head, or chunks of hair missing, things like that.
There are little things that do stand out to me when for example, a woman comes in and she's asking to open up an account and mentions that she doesn't want her husband to know about this account, or people that ask their debit cards to be mailed out to another address other than the one that's on file.
The ones that I've witnessed is usually if like significant other is kind of hovering around during sessions, and that makes the sessions kind of uncomfortable and a little bit hostile. And especially when they continue answering for the patient, like if you ask them like, oh, do you have more pain today? And they'll be like, no, she's okay, or he's okay, or whatever. And then I think a lot of it has to do with like like frequent injuries that can't really be explained, if they're falling a lot at home, but they don't really have the, they shouldn't physically be doing that. So a lot of unexplained injuries.
I would definitely encourage them to tell me more and tell me about the situations. Although it's not the easiest to hear about these things, it does help me help them. Many times domestic violence victims, they tend to have to hide things from their abuser, and they fear their abuser on a daily basis. So sometimes, if they want to open up a bank account, on the down low, hey, I don't want this person to know I have an account, because if they do, that's just like them having more control over me, etc., whatever the case is.
I have a very non-confrontational way of approaching our patients. Most of our patients, even if it's not dementia or Alzheimer's, that population has senile dementia. They're going to be confused. They're not going to always necessarily know who they are. And they're very, very, very vulnerable because they're frightened. Be gentle with them, a gentle touch, a soft voice, saying things in a calm way, even if they can't understand, because they're reading the calmness in my demeanor towards approaching them.
Our main thing that we use is TBRI, so trauma-based intervention, and that is the biggest thing that's the biggest part of recognizing the triggers and being sensitive to our students and family. So all of our staff, from lunch monitors to teachers to paras to the librarian to anyone that is going to be working with the students in our school, are trained in TBRI.
For me to be an ally, I think, is just being ready to listen to someone's story, and just being there to offer, the support as much as I can professionally, whether that's, being there while they call the authorities, or, offering different resources online that we can find together.
Being that person that is there to listen, to understand, to believe, and to help them find solutions, and just know that they are not alone and there is support for them.
It means just being someone that they have, someone that will listen to them, someone that will validate their experiences and just empathize with them, rather than kind of putting them down for it or sweeping it on the rug, anything like that. And then I just try to provide as much support as I can, whether it be emotional support, whether I get someone else involved that maybe can help with other types of tangible support, and just really being there for the person and making sure that they don't feel any less for their experiences.
A listening ear, and just kind of know that you're in a safe place. I just try to always ensure that my clients know that what you say to me is not going to leave the space. If I can be a voice or a vessel for, helping somebody find the right community support or the community resources, that's important, always to have that kind of information for them.
You are an ally to that patient. You want to be there as a support system for them. That's what you're really there for. You want to help the family, you want to help the situation as much as possible, but you want to be a support system for that person because they're your main focus.
It means that you are supportive of the students and the family. So you are checking in on them, you're reaching out with them, you are trying to make sure that they're safe and they're feeling loved.